Hey folks, good afternoon. When you look at the Bible in Genesis chapter 14, kind of seemingly out of nowhere comes this little story of Abram, before he became Abraham, talking to this high priest named Melchizedek. And this Melchizedek character, who's very interesting, we read here in Genesis, and we see that Abram, getting these spoils from war, if you will, getting this plunder, that he gave 10% of it to Melchizedek. And this is before the law was instituted. This is before the nation of Israel even existed. And so there was no such thing yet as the tithing, if you will, by the law of God, which was later instituted. But we see here Abram giving a tithe to Melchizedek. And you read it and you think, well, that's interesting. But then you go ahead to Hebrews chapter 7, which is what we're going to be looking at this Sunday morning during our worship celebration as we continue our 10% a call to biblical stewardship at 10:40 on Sunday morning. But you get to Hebrews chapter 7, and a little bit more of this is unpacked. Of course, about Melchizedek in Hebrews chapter 7 is that's unpacked. Who is this guy? Why did Abraham give him a tenth of his earnings? But then we also see the reinforcement of the tithe by the law of Israel, and then even we'll talk about that a little bit. What does that mean for us today? How does that apply to us today? And we're going to talk specifically about how we can honor God, and we should honor God with at least the first 10%, going back to the law, going back before the law, but then applying it today to our giving principles as we think through this. And so this is one of those things that, some people are more than happy to talk about it because they were convinced years and years ago of the importance of tithing and then some. But then others are thinking, well, I don't get this. I don't want anything to do with this. Well, I hope that you'll come Sunday morning and you'll hear this out. Casey Ellis is going to share a testimony of her conviction about this, that God really put in her heart many years ago through her family. And so that'll be a great part of our service as well. Looking forward to seeing you Sunday morning at 10:40.